It's not creepy, is he?
No, he just, he doesn't have eyelids. Hello darlings, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin Hahn, I am a disabled opera singer, and today I am so excited because I get to sit down with an immensely talented, highly accomplished, and also wickedly funny human, the one and only Jacqueline Ko.
Hey!
Jacqueline Ko is an acclaimed soprano, talented model, and the artistic director of Opera Mariposa, Canada's only entirely openly disability-led and run opera company. She has lived with the chronic neuroimmune disease Myalgic Encephalomyelitis, also called ME or MECFS, since age 6, has been producing benefit and awareness events for ME since she was 17, and through Mariposa, raised more than $90,000 so far for chronic neuroimmune disease research, treatment, education, and support. She is also a celebrity ambassador for the Open Medicine Foundation, which leads the largest concerted nonprofit effort in the world to diagnose, treat, and prevent MECFS and related chronic complex diseases. This year, she and Opera Mariposa are supporting the MECFS Society of BC through an awesome month-long benefit and awareness event, happening all throughout May. On top of all this, she's also my forever partner in operatic crime. So welcome, Jacqueline. So May is the awareness month for your disability, ME, but it is also the awareness month for my disability, EDS, so happy awareness month.
Happy Awareness Month to you!
So just to give us like a little bit of context, could you give us the Cliff Notes version of your story, your experience with ME and with chronic illness, just to start us off?
Alright, I first became ill when I was 6 years old. I had double pneumonia. It sort of lingered. I was diagnosed with mono and Epstein-Barr, and it took about 7 months for me to recover, as I thought. Then I believed I was healthy and that I'd just been sick, but I was okay. And then at 10 years old, I was injured in gym class. I got knocked over, had a hip injury, and my health just kind of collapsed. After that, I spent long portions of time housebound, or sometimes entirely bedbound, and I honestly don't remember large chunks of the next few years. I still live with ME symptoms every day, and most of my time is spent managing my illness. Yeah.
All right, friends, it's time for some quick science. Just for the people who may not know, can you share with us some of the symptoms people with ME might experience?
ME stands for Myalgic Encephalomyelitis. Myalgic means muscle pain, and encephalomyelitis refers to inflammation of the brain and spinal cord. And it's characterized by exhaustion that does not improve with rest, as well as exacerbations and flare-ups of the illness after any even minor physical or mental exertion, and that's called post-exertional malaise. Because ME affects the brain, it therefore affects basically all of the body systems, and it can include chronic pain, cognitive dysfunction, unrestful sleep, and sensitivity to light, to sound, and autonomic dysregulation. Basically anything that the body is supposed to regulate by itself, it might not do, or might not do all the time.
I have never heard of this. Tell me more, says the person with dysautonomia.
And it is a spectrum disease, so it really varies depending on the person. At its mildest, someone with ME might have about 50% of the function that they had before getting sick. At its most severe, people with ME might not be able to speak or to eat or to tolerate any light or sound or touch or even breathe without assistance. For me, I have a lot of symptoms all of the time. I have, frequent dizzy spells and a lot of pain and a lot of other weird symptoms. For example, here's something I know you know something about. My joints are all hypermobile. My thumbs don't quite do that, but they do this one.
It's the EDS gang sign.
Yep. So it has a huge variety of symptoms, and it can really vary from person to person.
Disability is definitely not a monolith, and neither are people's experiences or symptoms. Now, I really wanted to chat with you about your experiences as a disabled performer with ME, because you are the first person that I certainly ever met who had come out as disabled in the opera world. I mean, there is a lot of pressure to seem able-bodied in opera since your body is your instrument, and I wanted to ask you what the process of coming out was like for you.
Well, initially and even to this day, I sort of have to come out again and again with every director that I work with every company that I work with. I mean, I was always out to my teachers because I had to be, because it informed, so much of how I could do things things. And when I first started singing, sometimes I would have to cancel lessons at the last minute because I was doing very badly that day. Or sometimes, even still, sometimes, partway through a lesson, I'll just have to say, I'd like to keep going, but I can't be upright anymore. I'm gonna have to sit down or lie down while I sing now. So, my teachers have always known, but when it came to being in shows, I generally, and again, to this day, kind of prefer to not mention it if I can until after I've done one show with that person or with that company, just because then it feels like I'm a proven product and they won't question whether I'm making excuses or being a diva.
That's what people think,
Yeah.
right? Like, we've even experienced that at Mariposa, that people are like, I don't want to be a diva, but like, can I have a chair? And I'm like, how would having a chair in the room for you make you a diva? But this is the climate in which people believe that that's true.
Yes. The other thing that I do as a disabled opera singer is just I need to be incredibly picky about what I go up for. I've gone years without auditioning at times just because I looked at the auditions and I looked at the rehearsal schedules and went, well, I don't think this is something that I can physically manage to do. I can't do that many days in a row or whatever it is, so I guess it's not really worth it to go up for this. Yeah, and that's a big part of why Mariposa exists. It's because it was a way for me to be able to perform and to have a schedule that accommodates my needs and just to make a space where I could perform as a disabled performer. And I also would like to mention that it's only recent that I started to use the word disabled about myself. It's been over 10 years, actually, since I first started really talking publicly about my health, even though we've filled out paperwork saying that I am disabled and dependent on my parents, even though I'm over the age of 18. I didn't really use the term disabled to apply to myself in conversation until recently. Even deciding to be out about my illness, even deciding to hold awareness concerts for it and everything, it took a while for me to sort of own that as part of my identity. But yeah, it's a fairly recent thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there are a lot of people, particularly within the opera community, who it would not even occur to them that they might identify with this or that they might fit the bill, because I think if you're not a part of the disability community or involved in disability justice, people automatically believe, oh, I'm not disabled enough to be disabled.
That is,
when in reality,
yes, that is a huge thing in the disability community. And for me, as someone with ME, I know that it could be so much more severe than my case. I wouldn't describe my case as mild, but it's not, I wouldn't describe it as severe. I am sitting upright right now, having a conversation with you, and I'm here in a room with the lights on, even. None of those are things that would be possible for someone with severe ME. And so there is always that sense of, like you said, disabled enough. And, as a person, you're always trying to remind yourself that it could be worse. Or you get people trying to be helpful who keep telling you it could be worse.
Spoiler alert, it's not helpful, you guys.
Yeah, no. And so it takes a while to, sort of come to terms with all of those things and to, I don't want to even say accept, but maybe even just realize that the term disabled could apply. And I mean, this also for me personally, I think it was probably part of my journey with this illness, because when you get sick, there is, I want to say there's an assumption that you'll get better. And then eventually it hasn't gone away. And it takes some time to sort of come to terms with that.
Yeah, despite the fact that, as you know, I am the world's most aggressively positive person, it's kind of obnoxious, I'm just that person. There is a natural grief that grieves not only the life you had before, but the life you had imagined you could have had. And that grief is normal, but also everybody grieves differently. If you put it in the context of grieving the death of a loved one, you can really see every human dealing with grief in a different way. And that is true when grieving ourselves and our health as well. So there's no right or wrong way to experience that, just as there's no right or wrong way to be disabled. If you are experiencing grief over the life you lost or the future that you lost, it's not okay internally, but it is okay as a process to have. And it is okay to have that sort of conflicted feeling about becoming aware of disability as an identity within yourself as well. It's one of the things that I really love about Mariposa is that despite the fact that there are a lot of people who not only are not out as being disabled within the opera community, but may not even realize that disability is a term that could apply to them Mariposa still works to create a safe space for them, even if it has never occurred to them that they might be disabled. Mariposa is a place where people with access needs can come and be and perform and watch people perform, where asking for accessibility needs is never treated like a hassle or a burden, which, you know, it can be. And having that sort of safe community is one of the reasons I eventually felt like it was okay for me to say, I'm disabled and that's okay on the internet. So thanks, Mariposa. And it all started with you and I driving around in a van at 5 o'clock in the morning.
5 o'clock in the morning? I think it was midnight.
I think we left at midnight. I think we
True.
got back into your house at 5 a.m.
Almost 10 years ago now.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things, certainly, that I think I've ever done, is be a part of Mariposa. Another thing I was curious if you would share is the specific effect that ME has on your singing. Obviously, your voice is part of your body, and your body is chronically ill, so, like, one of these things would affect the other.
I've talked about this a little bit with my teacher, actually, that it's hard to know exactly how it's affecting my voice, because I've been sick the entire time I've been singing, so it's not like I have really a frame of reference to compare it to. I mean, it has affected my process quite a lot. I have one coaching every 2 weeks, so 1 hour every 2 weeks, because that's about as much as I can do, and at my worst, it was about once a month at the most. And like I said, sometimes I'm sitting down while I sing, sometimes I'm lying down while I sing. You know, I wake up every day not knowing how I'm going to feel. Some days, you know, I wake up and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm very dizzy, or I'm having a lot of pain. I can't guarantee how I'm going to be feeling on any day. And so I've always, as a singer, my approach has always been aimed towards gaining as much consistency through, you know, day to day as I can. Trying to, I guess, control the parts of it that I can control, because I can't control my health, and I just need to be prepared for anything. And I do know that a lot of teachers do say it's good to sing when you're not feeling 100%, to learn how to do that, so that if anything happens, if you've got a cold or whatever on the day of the performance, it's good to know what you're dealing with and to know how to deal with it. And, well, I've sung under all sorts of circumstances. I pretty regularly have dizzy spells on stage. I've sung when I had a cold. I've sung while I had the flu. This was a fun story. I once sang in a tower opera while having an asthma attack.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny now.
It wasn't funny at the time. To be honest, though, I don't remember much of that performance. Yeah, put that down to oxygen deprivation, whatever. But, you know, like, I do consider it one of my best performances in its own way, because I got through it, and, yeah, I survived it, so that's all you can ask for under those circumstances.
Like, that is something in and of itself to be proud of.
Yes.
Just before we leave, since even before Mariposa's inception, you have been raising money for ME research, support, and treatment through benefit and awareness events, supporting a whole bunch of really cool and amazing MECFS charities. But, you know, as a high-risk person during a global pandemic, you are going to be doing things a little differently this year, yeah?
Yes. This year, to raise funds for patients with ME and the related illness fibromyalgia, we're doing a month-long online campaign. People around the world can donate or share and be entered to win over $3,500 in super cool prizes, including original art pieces, a vacation, show tickets to online theater performances, and several super luxurious prize packages. I made those bath bombs myself. In addition to that, Opera Mariposa will be releasing a new video on our YouTube channel as part of our Opera Treats series. And at the end of the month, I'll be releasing a studio single called The Singer.
Yes, I have heard some of it already, and it sounds amazing. I cannot wait for it. Every bit of this will be for charity, and all links will be in the description. Thank you for coming and chatting with me. And of course, where can people find you on the internet or social media if they want to connect with you?
You can find me on Mariposa's YouTube channel or on Instagram at It's Jacqueline Ko.
All right, friends, that's it. I hope you learned a little bit about MECFS and or about what it's like to be a chronically ill opera singer. Remember, if you know opera singers, we're probably not the only disabled ones you know. We may just be the only ones who are out about it. Remember to enter to win some of the awesome prizes in Mariposa's amazing awareness campaign before the end of the month, and let me know in the comments which is the prize that you'd most want to win. I kind of want the vacation. Yeah, I do. And of course, if you were looking for a joyful little corner of the internet where we could discuss opera, disability, queerness, cats, and tea, you have found it. And if you weren't looking for it, you have found it anyway. So go hit that subscribe button and ring the little bell. Keep the comment section full of joy and light, and I will see you in my next video. This year, I do a lot of that. Now I'm looking in the computer. The right one. I've never quite gotten the giggles through all of these before, but I knew I would. Glam from here up. Bed glam from here down.
Put your mask back on, Borb.
As a high-risk person,